Hello everybody. In the last few lectures, we have been discussing externalities and the Pigovian approach of tackling the externalities. In the Pigovian approach of tackling the externalities, if there are negative externalities, Pigou has suggested a tax, namely the Pigovian tax, and he has suggested that the tax amount should be equal to the difference between the marginal social cost and the marginal private cost. According to Pigou, if the government intervenes and taxes the polluter, the problem of pollution would be solved. So, in the Pigovian approach, taxation is an important policy instrument and government intervention is very important. Coase, Ronald Coase, another economist, takes a different approach than Arthur Pigou. So, to his credit, his theory is known as Coase theorem. So, what is the central argument in the Coase theorem? The central argument in the Coase theorem is that Pigovian taxes and government intervention would be unnecessary if the problem of externality, including the environmental problem, is solved by the bargaining approach. So, as per Coase theorem, whenever there is a market inefficiencies resulting from externalities, as we had discussed earlier, there is a shift in equilibrium from a socially optimum. What Coase proposes is that the private citizens or private firms are able to negotiate a mutually beneficial, socially desirable solution. And he says that government intervention is not necessary. However, he says that this mutually beneficial, socially desirable solution can be negotiated provided two conditions are met. So, according to Coase theorem, they can negotiate a mutually beneficial, socially desirable solution provided there is no cost associated with the negotiation process. It means that it does not cost you any money for bargaining, right? We do not require any courts or any lawyers for negotiation. And second is, his condition is that the property rights should be well defined, right? So, in other words, government intervention like Pigovian taxes are unnecessary. He says that it is not required to tax the polluter, okay, or to give some subsidies to the bystander. Instead, whatever cash flow has to result, that cash flow has to result from the bargaining between the polluter and the affected party. So, in the Coase theorem, agents means the polluter and the third party can bargain their way to a Pareto optimum. Pareto optimum is social optimum, and that Pareto optimum, he says, is the same irrespective of whether externalities imposed by one party or the other party on the first. So that is also an interesting thing. I will explain this in bit detail later. But what he says that irrespective of who owns the properties, there can still be a same Pareto optimum, a same socially desirable outcome. So, as I said, the Coase theorem was proposed by Ronald Coase in his paper, The Problem of Social Cost, in 1960. And he has given a solution for handling the situation of externalities, which is a different solution than what Coase is proposing. In his solution, there is no government intervention and there is a bargaining between the parties involved, which he believes leads to an efficient outcome, right? So, we will understand this Coase theorem in the next lecture of mine by taking a very interesting example of contamination of river by farmer, which has an adverse impact on fishermen downstream.